So in my first uploaded video, I took my client through a dumbbell chest press, a pull-up and a squat. Those are the strength exercises of the session. So I'll just unpack these movements a little bit further. For the dumbbell chest press, I got the main muscle movers are the pecs. So we have the pec major, the pec minor, and then the triceps are the supplementary movers throughout that movement. So we have the major mover is the pec major, which is across the chest. That aids in the shoulder flexion part of the movement, and the elbow extension part of the movement, which is at the top, that comes from the triceps. So the triceps are supplementary to the major movers, which is the pec major. So we have the humerus going through that range of motion, and then the forearm coming through into the extension. For the pull-up, we have the humerus coming into shoulder adduction. So that's the latissimus dorsi, which is doing that movement. So that's the dominant mover, which is the lat of that exercise, and also the bicep being the supplementary mover due to the elbow flexion part of the exercise. So that gets the client up towards the bar, shortening the lats and shortening the biceps. In terms of the squat, we have the squat being a quad dominant movement. So the quad is, and the vastus group is the main part of the main mover of the exercise, due to the hip going from flexion into extension, and as like the quads being the major hip extenders in that exercise. But also we have the glutes and the core just stabilizing while the client's under that load. So they're the supplementary muscles that are active throughout the range of motion. Alright, so we're just going to do 3 minutes on the roll up. So we're going to use primarily this aerobic because of the duration. So we're just going to go moderate intensity because we're not fully cardio fit yet. So we're going to just stick to moderate intensity for 3 minutes. We can't go all out for 3 minutes, so we're going to stick to aerobic energy system. You've done this before, so you know how it all works. Yep. So just going to pull back, we're going to start practice. So we're going to pull back, extend your knees. Lovely. Alright, so we're going to go from here. So we've got 3 minutes starting now. We're going to extend it all the way back. Keep breathing all the way through. So we should start to feel the heart rate going up, the breathing rate going up. So we're going down. We're going to do that water intensity. Good stuff. Keep breathing. Just fully extending the back still. Almost there. Yeah, not too bad. Almost there. Keep that intensity. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, pretty good. Heart rate's up.
Heart rate's up, that's the way. Alright, so we're going to do basically the same thing as we do on the roll. We're going to do 3 minutes.
Yep.
You used one of these before.
Yep.
So we want to adjust the resistance. You can turn this thing here. Just keep it at moderate intensity.
Yep.
Again, we're using the aerobic energy system. So we're going to be targeting getting your heart rate up, getting your respiratory rate up.
Yep. Yep.
So we're going for 3 minutes again. Hope you don't feel uncomfortable or anything.
Yep.
You should get your heart rate going up. Just give it a low intensity. Keep your breathing rate up. So we're breathing through our nose. Go around.
It's come to a minute about 10.
Keep that intensity up. So we're breathing still.
Yeah, something to swim on. Good.
Heart rate up.
Yep.
Keep it at intensity. Almost there. Middle left. Keep that intensity. Is that alright?
Yeah, pretty good.
There. Keep it up. 15 seconds to go. Five, four, three, two, one. Well done. How do you feel?
Yeah, pretty good.
Take you through some special population examples. The first one is lower back pain. This is a really widespread condition that heaps of people suffer from. This can be a small amount of the time. This is an actual case where the person has an abnormality in bone or muscle, or there's something to do with the spine, like a hernia, like a slip disc. And this really needs to be taken care of. There can't be any rotation of the spine, and flexion of the spine needs to be monitored and actually performed correctly. But most of the time this is just a inability for the person to stabilize throughout their core and their glutes. So the major stabilizers of the spine are the deep core muscles and the glutes. The glutes stabilize the lumbar part of the spine, and a deep core from the front. In clients that have lower back pain, these muscles are either weak or inactive. So this is part of the programming that I would include in someone with lower back pain. I would target their glutes, make sure they're active, make sure they're strong, and they know how to stabilize them throughout the range of movement, and to increase their core stability, so they have that intra-abdominal pressure, so their spine doesn't feel under threat. And this can be done through like hip extensions for the glutes, through core stabilize, like planks for the core to be able to stabilize. So any contraindications to exercise would be any pain or any spasms. That's the main case that I would just shut down the exercise. If there's any pain present, the exercise shouldn't continue. So that's a contraindication. And then if it's bad, if it doesn't calm down, then go seek other medical help. In terms of the exercise adjustments for the squat, I would decrease the range of movement, so I would get them squatting to a narrow box. This would help with controlling that pelvic movement, which can sometimes be a aggressor for lower back pain. And I would take the bar. So if they're doing a back squat, for example, I would take the bar off their back and decrease that axial load, which can sometimes be an aggressor as well. So I'll put the weight out in front of them, do like a goblet squat, or a goblet squat to like a shallow box. That would be the best way to minimize any risk to the client with lower back pain. So in a client with shoulder pain can be caused by a range of things. It can either be tendinopathies, which can be of the rotator cuff or the bicep tendon. They're common ones. It could be through poor range of motion, or it could be a contact injury. This could be a range of different things that cause the shoulder pain. A large population of the people will go through rehab that involves external rotation, internal rotation, targeting those rotator cuff muscles to stabilize the shoulder. And if instructed by the physio, or the client needs this, then that should be included in a program. In terms of contraindications to any exercises that we may do, if there's pain present, then that's a major contraindication. Whether that's sharp pain or like a throbbing pain, the exercise should be stopped, because the small tears in the tendon that causes the tendinopathy might increase. The problem might be exaggerated throughout that movement. So in terms of adjusting for the exercise that I performed with my client just in my last video, we did a pull-up, which was overhand and wide grip. This can sometimes be an aggressor for someone with shoulder problem, because it requires a large range of motion to get to that end of movement, and producing the strength from that end range of motion. So that can sometimes be an aggressor. So what we would do for that, if we're still wanting to do that movement, we would just change it to an underhand chin up. This puts the shoulder in a more friendly position, and it increases the bicep activation a bit more. So it's not, it gets more assistance from its supplementary movers. So the last condition I'm going to talk about is a client with high blood pressure. High blood pressure can be caused by diabetes, it can be caused by high cholesterol, it can be caused by an abnormality of the heart or the arteries around the heart. In any case, it's the blocking or the narrowing of the arteries around the heart, and this can cause a complete blockage, which can cause damage to the heart and cause a stroke or something of that nature. The normal blood pressure is 120/80, so the 120 being the systolic, so the heart pumping the blood out, and the diastolic is the 80, which is the heart filling up with blood again. So slight variations to that number is acceptable. That can be fine. It's when it's majorly over or majorly under, then that's a problem. So we're talking about a client with high blood pressure. So we're talking about a contraindication to the exercise. To exercise starting would be a blood pressure of over 180 over 110. Anything over that or that, the client is considered not safe to exercise and should be monitored by a medical professional while exercising. This is usually common in really overweight people or people with an existing condition of high blood pressure. Or another contraindication to the exercise is if while aerobic exercise is being undertaken, that the client reaches 180 260 over 120. So that's again very high. So so if the client reaches that throughout the exercise, then the exercise should be stopped immediately, and they should be given rest, allowed that blood pressure to come back down, and then sent off to a medical professional or something just to see whether they're okay and cover the exercise. So when we're doing aerobic exercise with a high blood pressure client, I would just decrease the volume or decrease the intensity. The two variables that can be changed. These ultimately just decrease the stress on the heart, and they allow the heart to not get too overwhelmed with the stress of the exercise, so it doesn't have to pump out blood, like major excessive blood to cover the exercise, so that the artery walls don't get major stress on them. The major one is the intensity. I think the intensity should be lowered greatly so that they're doing the exercise, getting the response from the heart, and then calling it there.